Okay, welcome back to Tips for Teachers, Blackboard 101. This video, I'm hoping to keep it short, but you never know, it might go on a little bit longer. We're going to talk about organizing your course, and all we're going to do in this video is there's no perfect way to organize a course, there's no correct way. It very much depends on your teaching style and the way your class works. Some of you have mentioned that my course on Blackboard looks different to your course. I'm going to just show you a little tour, give you a tour, show you some of the things I add, some of the things I think are valuable, and some of the things I maybe do that will not be valuable for you, but you can see. So let's jump over to the course and we will take a quick look. Okay, so here we are in my current course, and first thing you'll notice that's different is I have this big picture here. Depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching it in December, you will realize this is because we have National Day this term. So I put that picture there for National Day. Usually I change the picture every Sunday. And I know some of you are already thinking that's too much work. Every week there's usually a picture. Sometimes I try and keep it on theme, sometimes not. But it mostly says week 1, and it has a list of the vocab and the grammar that we're going to study that week. Think of it as like the aims for the week. Okay. You can also kind of see that in some of my weekly modules. I think we're going to be having another slow Blackboard day. At the beginning of each week, I just put this little picture that says, this week we will be studying the following, this, and this. I think it's just best practice that the student should know what they're going to study for the week. It makes sense to me. I haven't had any negative feedback about it. I haven't had much positive feedback about it either. But yeah, I announce what we're studying at the beginning of the week and put the little picture there. And I also put the picture on the front of the course. If you need to put a picture here, if you want to try and do it, the way to do it is customization and teaching style. When you get in there, there's an option to change the picture, to add a banner. That's called a banner. The only problem I have with it is the picture size is a bit trial and error. If the picture's too big, it looks awful. If the picture's too small, it's also kind of awful. But select banner, new banner image, browse my computer, find the image you want to put. You'll have to figure out the sizing yourself because I weekly end up with pictures that are too big or pictures that are too small. So that's my first tip, my first course organization feature. The second one, you will notice most of you have Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4 down the side. I have changed mine to a weekly structure. When we were physically in the classroom, I think the unit system was fine. Now we're studying online. I prefer a weekly system. It's personal preference. Mainly because it just allows me to go sort of sequentially through the days. So every week at the top I have a picture, and I have this week we will study and the topics for the week. Then, because generally I'm using a PowerPoint every day in the Collaborate sessions, I don't think the ebook is... I'm not successful at using the ebook in Collaborate for sure, so I prefer to have most of my stuff on PDFs and PowerPoints. So I always put the PowerPoint with the day, Sunday 20th, and then the quizzes and the content related to what we study underneath it. Then, Monday, Okay, we do something else. We're doing present simple negative today. I put Monday, I put the PowerPoint, I put any of the resources, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I think this works better online because if a student is absent or if a student doesn't come in the morning, they can still see what they've missed on that day. Okay, that's the main benefit, probably the only benefit to this system. But if you're a student and you miss a couple of days, if the course is laid out like this, they already know what they need to catch up on, which if the students are good, it means I don't need to nag them and tell them, and they can kind of guide themselves, and if they have questions, they can ask me for support. So my personal preference is a weekly system. Picture at the top, daily content, quizzes separated by day and by whatever we've studied. Probably by the end of the week, the content will thin out a little bit. We did a lot that week. I throw in some of those MSAT quizzes as extra practice for the more advanced students. But that's how I set things out on a weekly basis. I know different people have different systems. A couple of you have sort of shown me your systems and it works for you. That's the important thing. If it works for you, it works for your class. I don't see any downside to changing the layout a little bit. Showing you the same thing, week 5, the picture seems to not be loading, but again, the same concept of content, quizzes, content, quizzes, content, quizzes. Picture did load. Other things that I think you should be thinking about is in the toolbar, anything that you use often, you should put it there. I'm thinking next course of maybe removing the content and having that just in one section. But you need your online class here. I think it's good practice to have the grades so the students can find their grades. If you're using the portfolio, it makes sense to have the portfolio here. I put an assignment here, so if they ever want to submit their portfolio to me, they can just go to this assignment and submit it. The ebook is here. Me and Fran sometimes use the discussion board, so the discussion board is here. And the messages I talked about in video number 1, I think, I've put here, but it's, it's not something I'm using yet. So that will definitely be on my next course. If you think this is a way that you would like to do it, you have 2 choices. You can create week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, but actually it's just easier to edit the name of Unit 1 to week 1, and then most of the quizzes you use in week 1 are already in there. You just have to add the content. This is definitely not opening, so we don't need to look at that. You can see I figured out the editing the name part later on in the course. And the other thing, hide anything you don't want your students to see or anything you're not using, because the more content that they can see, the more confused they will be. So a streamlined system, I think, is much, much better for the students and for the way they learn, and honestly for the way I teach. Anyway, I will stop the video under 10 minutes today, so mashallah. But don't be afraid to move things around in the course, to put some pictures, to make it a bit more visually stimulating, because the basic course is very, very bland to look at. I will show you one more thing. Apologies for keeping you. If you want these pictures were made by Fran when we were following the unit system, we still put the picture of the unit outcomes at the top of the unit, so the students actually know what Unit 3 is about. Because if you just say Unit 3, it's kind of meaningless. So if you want these pictures, Fran probably has them on her computer, and if you email her, she'll probably be kind enough to send them to you. Or you can just make your own. Either way. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.